Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, 2 arrests have been made in connection to a late-night shooting in Larry Lane last week.
Police say a 30-year-old man was going the wrong way on Highway 59 when he crashed and died at the scene.
And new details emerge regarding the disappearance and recovery of Rudy Fadas.
And of course, the rain today was very nice, but the problem is it's going to be going away. You can see the stuff right here. Yep, it's headed to Louisiana. So what we're doing is we're going back into the heat wave. Yes, next week looks like it looked a couple of weeks ago. So we'll be talking all about that coming up.
And in sports, we hear from some of the host families that have housed a few of the generals this summer. That's coming up.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Victoria police arrest 2 men in connection with a shooting of a 19-year-old man on June 29th in the 23,000 block of Larry Lane. 18-year-old Roberto Gutierrez and 17-year-old Jordan Pena arrested for the charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And a 30-year-old man was killed last night in a crash involving an 18-wheeler. It happened around 10 o'clock in the 2800 block of Highway 59. The man who died was in a car going south in a northbound lane of traffic when he crashed into a tractor trailer and another vehicle. He's identified as Alexander Cantu.
Today, Patrick Crusius was sentenced to 90 consecutive life sentences for the 2019 mass shooting at an El Paso Walmart. Crusius pleaded guilty earlier this year to nearly 50 federal hate crime charges. The 24-year-old sentencing today came nearly 4 years after he drove more than 700 miles from his house near Dallas and targeted Hispanic shoppers with an AK-style rifle inside and outside the store. Texas prosecutors want Crusius to get the death penalty when he stands trial in state court. No state trial date set just yet.
And with that, here is your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you support the death penalty for Patrick Crusius, yes or no? We take a look at these results and 92% stand at yes, 8% stand at no. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News now at 10. Houston police said today no charges have been filed in the case of Rudy Fadas, who was reported missing 8 years ago, but may not have been missing at all. Rudy was reported missing March 7, 2015. However, he apparently returned home the next day, March 8, 2015, and his mother kept him hidden from police. A community activist who says he spoke with Rudy publicly said the now 25-year-old was abused and drugged by his own mother. But those statements were not exactly supported by police officials today.
HPD Victim Services has reached out. We've also connected Rudy with Victim Services to ensure that he has a method to recover. Now, based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse reported.
Police insist the case is still under investigation and did not rule out possible charges.
2 men are under arrest and facing murder charges in connection with a mass shooting that took place in Fort Worth's Como neighborhood on Monday night. 3 people were killed, 8 people injured. KXAS reports Fort Worth police records show 19-year-old Brandon Williams and 20-year-old Christopher Reddick are charged with murder. Fort Worth Police Chief Neil Noakes said Friday that there was some sort of altercation before the shooting and that it may have been gang-related.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, we got a little bit of drizzle, a little bit of relief from that heat.
It was nice today. This morning we got the rain, of course, a couple of showers this afternoon. The problem is it's kind of going away. You see all that moisture is still in the Gulf. And now we're looking at this big old bubble of high pressure. It's going to be parking itself on top of us, putting us back into the high heat indexes that we had a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have more details on your forecast and taking a look at the tropics coming up in a moment.
All right, thank you, Mac. Well, a couple surrendered their hour-old infant to store employees in Plano recently. The employees say they jumped into action after a man walked into the store asking for help for his girlfriend and baby.
Now, the baby is safe, but questions remain on whether the couple followed the state's safe haven law and if any charges will be filed.
Yes, we do have some available.
After hours of calls and customers, Angela Owens figured the teen boy who walked in around 2 yesterday was just one more.
And I thought he was a customer. I asked him if I could help them.
When he said his baby and girlfriend needed help, she ran, assuming the child was choking.
And I opened the passenger door to see a young girl sitting there with a newborn baby in her lap wrapped in a towel.
The newborn was just an hour old. Tabitha Perry was also working at Highline Mobility and grabbed a wheelchair. On the phone with 911, Owens helped tie the umbilical cord with a string.
There was no thought
like
into
right
it,
place,
really.
right
It
time.
was
Yeah, being a mother.
we had to do what we had to do. There's no other option at that point.
Both have 3 kids and could tell the new teen parents were frightened and in shock. Worried they wouldn't make it to a safe haven spot, Owens accepted the child herself.
Did some crying. She was moving. She was trying to suckle on her fists to try to get food.
I hope that they don't end up in trouble because I feel like they did the right thing.
Yeah,
They did
that's
the
what we're
best.
worried
That's
about.
what's killing me right now.
The Safe Haven or Baby Moses law says that any child under 60 days old can be taken to any fire station or hospital in the state of Texas, but the child does have to be taken inside.
We are mostly concerned about the child and the mother. We want to make sure they get the care that they need.
Police said they don't know if there will be charges, grateful just that the child and mother are healthy and that the wrong place turned out to be the perfect one.
Absolutely a saving grace at this point.
I'm proud of them for asking for help. That doesn't happen all the time.
A human smuggler captured on video driving against oncoming traffic in Texas. Newly released video showing the moment DPS troopers chase a truck tractor barreling against oncoming traffic and reaching speeds of 85 miles an hour. Authorities said he refused to stop for a traffic violation, troopers eventually catching up to him. A group of passengers running away as troopers rushed the disabled vehicle, among them 12 migrants who were apprehended. The driver was arrested, identified as Eduardo Aradas of Florida. DPS saying he now faces state criminal charges for smuggling and evading. Wharton County law enforcement officers made 2 drug arrests Friday at 1027 West Burleson Street in Wharton. Arnie Allen and Dion McDade charged with unlawful possession of firearm by a felon. They also face 8 drug charges apiece. Crack cocaine and methamphetamine were found. Multiple law enforcement agencies working with the Operation Lone Star Task Force served warrants in DeWitt County Thursday. 7 people served with warrants ranging from misdemeanor to felony levels. All the people arrested now in the DeWitt County Jail. DeWitt County Sheriff Carl Bowen said this was not part of the governor's Operation Lone Star initiative and that none of the people taken into custody were involved in human smuggling or trafficking.
California Governor Gavin Newsom wants the Justice Department to look into how migrants made it from his state to Texas. The California governor asked the DOJ to open federal criminal and civil investigations into the transportation of migrants by flights from Texas to California. Last month, 36 migrants were driven from Texas to New Mexico. They were then put on private charter flights to California. California's Department of Justice is investigating those flights.
Forest Street in downtown Victoria will close between Bridge and Main Streets beginning about 6 p.m. July 10th so that the De Leon Plaza expansion project can begin. The project will convert this block of Forest Street into an expanded pedestrian and performance area with a pavilion, shaded seating, a public restroom, and space for food trucks. The project will finish in March 2024.
Texas is getting $6 million from the federal government to help utilities strengthen the state's electricity grid to better withstand extreme weather events. State emergency leaders will develop a plan on how to use the money. You can read more on this in a Texas Tribune article we posted on our Twitter page.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. A 17-year-old arrested in connection to the Baltimore mass shooting that took place 4th of July weekend.
Also ahead, a Nevada license plate goes viral for its problematic "Go Back to California" sticker. Here's a look at Community Crossroads this weekend. We first sit down with Jack Greason to discuss his new book. Then Wind Services is here to talk about the hurricane season, and the Stroman class of 1973 makes an appearance. Plus, we have a national anthem rendition from David Vasquez. Baltimore police have made an arrest in the mass shooting at a 4th of July block party that claimed 2 lives early Sunday. They're not identifying the suspect because he is just 17 years old. Police are charging him with possession of a firearm and reckless endangerment. 3 of the 28 people who were injured in the shooting are still in the hospital in fair condition. Investigators say they believe there are multiple suspects in the incident.
A vanity license plate in Nevada has gone viral on Facebook.
But its message, which some Texans possibly agree with, is drawing a lot of complaints.
A Nevada license plate went viral on Facebook saying, "Go back to California," and received over 80,000 likes.
A week after that, I get a letter from the DMV saying, we don't feel we like your license plates, and here's a letter saying we're recalling them.
But there are many people who have enjoyed seeing the plate around town.
Some local law enforcement have pulled me over to tell me they love my license plate. Texas has pulled me over. In 20 years, I've had one person. Well, I don't think your license plates are very appropriate.
Specialized plates can be fun, but even years after they've been issued, one complaint can send them to the special committee to review them and possibly recall them.
All it takes is one person to go ahead and issue or to file a complaint. If it goes against the statute, we have a duty to execute on that and recall it.
The statute states you may not put these on your license plate.
You can't print numbers upside down. You can't do more than 7 numbers. You can't express contempt, ridicule, or superiority of race, ethnic heritage, religion, or gender. You can't have any connotations or sexual, vulgar, derogatory, profane, or obscene. It can't contain a direct or indirect reference to drug or drug paraphernalia or a gang. And it can't make a defamatory reference to a person or a group.
If you have a recalled plate, you can appeal the committee's decision by taking the case to a judge that is distinctly separate from the DMV, but still on their payroll. Steelman is appealing the recall and will have the hearing July 12th. The judge presiding over his administrative hearing may decide that he's got the better case. In the event that that happens, he'll keep the plates.
Volkswagen is bringing some new technology to its iconic VW bus, and they're going to be testing it in Texas. The automaker has announced it will soon test launch self-driving technology using these retro-styled electric microbuses. The program will rev up in Austin with 10 self-driving ID Buzz electric vans. Volkswagen says each van will also have a human driver on board to ensure safety during the test runs. This is the first time VW will test self-driving vehicles in the U.S. It previously tested them in Germany.
Looks pretty good there. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We had cloud cover and a little rain today. It was really nice. I hope you enjoyed it because by tomorrow we're going to see a lot more sunshine. As a a matter of fact, our temperatures are going to start climbing again. Right about now, we're at 91, feels like 99. The high temperature today officially was 91, and we did get 49/100ths of an inch, a half an inch of rain out at the airport. So that was good. That was really good. You're going to miss it, as a matter of fact, when we talk about the weather coming up in a moment. We'll take a look at your 7-day.
Fentanyl crisis, unmasking the deadly wave. Join 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel for a 25 News Now Extra, Thursday, July 13th at 10 p.m. We focus on the alarming rise of the deadly drug fentanyl.
What you know about fentanyl is probably maybe 10% of the reality.
Fentanyl is easy to make and cheap to get, and it has flooded communities across the United States, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Don't miss this eye-opening extra that could save lives.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We did have some nice rain again today. That's 2 days in a row. Get a load of these. Riverside Park, 9,200. Not bad at all. Inez got into the action with 56. Raisin came in with 55. And Ganado came in with an inch and a half. 3,600s out of Port Lavaca, and Seadrift came in with another inch. That means they probably got a total of almost 3 inches out of this. These are the temperatures for tomorrow. As you can see, we're slowly ticking back up. No more upper 80s. We're looking for back into the 90s. The cloud cover sort of thinned out, and the big cluster that was out over the Gulf is beginning to move. If I put my hand here, you can see it's definitely taking a northeasterly turn with the heaviest activity already near Louisiana. So we're going to start evaporating all this moisture tomorrow, and that's why we've got a 20% leftover. But then after that, here it is, big old high pressure rebuilding. This is going to be it's going to be big, bigger than the last heat wave. Does that make any sense? I'll tell you why, because the last heat wave was really right over Texas. It was always us and only us. Now this is going to be almost a third of the country, because it's going to go all the way out into South Florida, and whatever rain they have here is also going to evaporate. So next week we're back into the drink, or I wish I could say drink, but we're back into the sauna, which will be dealing with record-breaking temperatures. Now, here's something that's happening right now. It's why we're not getting a lot of tropical activity. Because the Pacific is warmer than normal, that's El Nino, the jet stream is dropping a little bit farther south, and it is going in that direction. Well, the trade winds, which are down at the surface, are certainly bringing everything in our direction, but right about here, that becomes an opposing force. So if there was a storm developing here, it would quickly get sheared off by the opposing upper wind. So we do have low-level winds off the ocean, but the trade winds are really what bring the storms into the Gulf, and so that's going to give us a little bit of a break. Now, that being said, for tomorrow, we are looking at some big activity out in the Pacific. And in fact, in the next couple of days, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 hurricanes develop. And as long as they keep on their normal path, which is out to sea, no problem. When they turn, and of course they have no reason to turn right now, if they turn, it becomes a problem for the mountainous areas of North America, and that includes Texas, and then that includes our area as well. So I've seen that happen, so I certainly watch that for you. So your forecast for tomorrow, your day planner, getting into 81 in the morning in Port Lavaca, getting up to 93 in the afternoon, partly cloudy and maybe a 20% chance of a shower or two. And then for the day planner in Cuero, getting up at 78, going up to 94, mostly on the partly cloudy side, but still rather warmer. Then we look at the 7 days. All right, for Crossroaders, we're looking for 20% tomorrow, mostly along the coast. And then sunny skies on Sunday. By Tuesday, I believe you're going to feel it in earnest that we're back into the heat, as the humidity and the heat are going to combine to give us a heat index probably up into the 110 to 118 range. So we're back into the heat for most of next week, and this one's going to be a big one that half of the nation's going to be feeling. So it's going to be a big news story for everybody. So whatever you did last week to survive, well, we're going to do that again. That's your 7-day forecast. I want to remind everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Karina, back to you.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. The Victoria Generals capped off last night with another victory. That makes it 9. Can they keep that streak alive tonight against the Cake Cutters? That's coming up after the break. Back to Crossroads, 25 News Now sports reporter Zach Brown takes us outside the lines and into the homes of some of the host families that care for some of the Victoria Generals.
The Generals have been on a tear, now sit at first place in the standings after winning their last 9. But there is another factor that helps go into their success. Host families, the guys you see hit the diamond every night, live with families that willingly take them in for the summer. One of those families are the Hicks. You can find them at every home game, but off the field, creating a family-like atmosphere for their players.
Honestly, the best part about hosting is really the relationship that you have with the players. You know, it goes beyond the baseball field. Of course, that's really fun, but it's the golf games and the dinners out and all the things that we do outside of Riverside Stadium that really builds the relationships. We want them to come to Victoria, and I've said this before to our players, really it's really about them. You know, we want them to have a good time, we want them to love Victoria, to love the Generals, and so our job really is just to make them feel comfortable. And again, they're our summer sons, so we're really just trying to hang out with them and show them a good time and let them know what the Victoria Generals is all about.
The players they host are starting pitcher Cody Gibbs and catcher Levi Castilleja, who are already a dynamic pitcher-catcher duo. They say living together strengthens their relationship and is something they have been incredibly grateful for during their time with the Generals. That is a sentiment the entire team has felt with their experience.
It's honestly felt like a second home to me. Like I can go home anytime and just feel welcomed, and that's how a lot of the host families have felt for me, because we have get-togethers at other guys' house, and they're all just some of the best people I've ever met.
Robin Hicks is the on-field MC of the Generals, and her husband Brandon Hicks rings the bell and is known for his antics out on the deck. But Cody and Levi both say that the experience of living with them has made their time with the first-place Victoria Generals so much more special. If anyone has doubts about becoming a host family and having a summer son, as the Hicks call it, Brandon says,
do it. It's the most fun you're going to have in the summer. It gives you a real rooting interest in the game, not just the Generals, but you're like invested in players because you're taking care of them and you're nurturing them and you're talking to them every night, you know, so it's well worth it.
And speaking of the Generals helped raise just over $18,000 with the sale of the purple jerseys that were worn in last night's game. 100% of the proceeds went to help the Alzheimer's disease. Victoria did just enough to win 5-3 and are going to take on the Acadiana Cane Cutters tonight at 7:05, and it is a free ticket night if you would like to attend. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gina. Now we're going to be back in a moment because we're going to show you the world's first robot news conference held today in Europe. Registration underway for children in need of school supplies. You can register to receive supplies online on the Faith Family Church website at myfcc.com/packthebus. Supplies will also be given Saturday, August 5th at the Faith Family location on Mockingbird. For questions about registration, stop by Faith Family Church Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon or contact Stephanie Kadingo at 361-573-2484.
Finally tonight, robots presented at an AI forum today said they expected to increase in number and help solve global problems and would not steal humans' jobs or rebel against us. That's good news. But in the world's first human-robot press conference, they gave mixed responses on whether they should submit to stricter regulation. The robots gathered at a conference where organizers are looking to make the case for artificial intelligence to help fix challenges such as disease and hunger. Now, the robots don't have full names, but they go by initials and numbers. So one of them, I think, is called WD-40. So I just wanted to make sure.
No, that's after the rain.
That's after the rain. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Trying to get them going. Well, that's a little scary. No,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, they were talking, yes.
Oh, my God.
Talking robots. Talking thinking robots, yes.
Giving opinion on world hunger and...
Getting pretty scary out there. Pretty scary. Well, folks, we had additional rain today. That was good. The problem is that it's going to be going away. For those of you, planning your weekend, it's going to be a good weekend. The rain chances will be decreasing, but the problem is that the sun will be back, and we're looking at more hot weather next week. In fact, you can call this heat wave number 2 because it's really going to be covering much of the southern half of the country.
All right. Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
That's right. We'll see you tonight at 10.